Good morning, everyone. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com with your morning market outlook for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. In the pre-market this morning, stock index futures are up across the board, being led higher by the Dow, while commodities are mixed. We've got crude oil lower while gold is higher on Tuesday morning. Now, Scott Bessent was out on CNBC this morning talking about another potential deal in the Middle East, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, IMAX is trading higher this morning on news, and of course, we've got those two big movies out right now that are bringing lots of people to the theaters. Palantir is trading up about 15% in the pre-market on Tuesday morning. We also have action in McDonald's and Caterpillar this morning. Now, we love month end. There's usually a bullish bias on the day before and the day after month end, and that's what we're seeing now. We also had Trump pump the futures on Sunday, came out Sunday afternoon, said, hey, we've almost got a deal. If you had have just changed the channel to the BBC or to Al Jazeera, they were both reporting that Iran didn't know what the president was talking about at that particular time. So there's a lot of memes like this at the moment. Now, what's interesting out of the Middle East is you can buy Iraqi oil. They're going to give you a $30 a barrel discount if you show up and do self-checkout. Of course, you've got to be willing to go through the strait to get there. But yeah, Iraq's got oil on sale for a $30 a barrel discount if you show up and do self-checkout. So there's oil coming down hard yesterday. It's down again in the pre-market this morning. That put a bid into the U.S. markets yesterday while the Canadian markets were closed. And so we had the S&P 500 up nicely. Big winner was First Solar. Then we had the NASDAQ 100 back on a buy signal with CoreWeave, the big winner. And then on the Dow itself, and the Dow Diamonds popping higher, gapping up yesterday. The Dow itself doesn't typically gap. It usually opens where it closed, but yesterday the Dow Diamonds certainly popped, and the big winner on the Dow was Boeing, but then Microsoft was just behind Boeing yesterday. I thought that the market would stall after filling that gap last week, but it continued higher on Friday and Monday. It pays never to completely liquidate your position. You want to hold on to a partial position after you've taken profits until you finally get kicked out of the trade. Looking at the VIX, and the VIX for the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell, they're all on sell signals right now. In the U.S., the VIX ETF generated a sell signal, and of course in Toronto, the markets were closed, so you'll be getting out today at the open. Taking a look at the Canadian market yesterday, the Canadian market was closed, of course, and so on Friday it was an inside day for the iShares for the TSX 60. In New York, the iShares Canada ETF was up 0.44 yesterday, even with crude oil prices lower. They didn't take the Canadian market to the woodshed yesterday. If you look at the U.S. energy stocks, they were down 1.29%. No change in trend there. So we should expect a pullback in the Canadian energy sector on Tuesday, probably not enough to give us new sell signals. Looking at the world of currencies, the U.S. dollar index has been coming down hard over the past couple of days. It doesn't have a lot to do with the euro or the Canadian dollar. It has a lot more to do with what's going on in Japan. Sometimes it's pretty obvious to see when a government gets involved in a currency, and you can see the Japanese government is being very aggressive at the moment. Looking at the bond market, it was an inside day for the 30-year bond yesterday, inside day for bond yield, so no change there. Looking at Bitcoin generated a sell signal on Friday, inside day yesterday, and it's up $100 or so in the pre-market this morning. Ethereum still on a buy signal. No change in trend so far for Ethereum. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to cover in this morning's presentation. There was an enormous amount of signals yesterday based on the big up move that we saw in the U.S. market, and the Canadian market will be playing a little catch-up today. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Canadian stocks moving higher in sync with the U.S. market today, except probably the energy sector. You have a great Tuesday. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Wednesday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.